feeling tonight? Your boy Nick Frazier is here around the water cooler tonight, man. And tonight we keeping it going with this Marvel theme of trying to collect all of Auburn's Infinity Stones. So you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's get into it. Eugene Asante, bring us in, my
boys
guy.
and girls of all ages. You're tuned into the Water Cooler Talk podcast, the biggest podcast in the world. Yeah.
You are now tuned in to Water Cooler Talks, covering everything you love about college football, especially everything going down in the SEC conference. So, if you love college football, you need to lock in. And now, your hosts, Nick Frazier and Marcus Fitzpatrick.
Yes, sir. Welcome around the water cooler with us tonight, man. It is Tuesday, April 8th, and we are back around the water cooler tonight, man. We thank y'all so much for joining us and continuing to rock with us here around the water cooler every night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, man. As you all know, man, we are the Water Cooler Talk podcast, man. And we here we talk about Auburn football, we talk about SEC football, we talk about recruiting, we talk about all things football. It's what we love to do, man. Before we get started, man, make sure you follow us on Facebook at the Water Cooler Talk podcast. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Water Cooler Talk. If you're on Twitter, if you have a Twitter account, follow us on Twitter at CoolersPod23 on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at CoolersPod23. Follow us on Twitter at CoolersPod23. Trying to grow that Twitter following over there. And, of course, subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell button here on YouTube so you know when we post more videos and go live, man. We are on the way to 700 subscribers, so we really are trying to hit that as soon as we possibly can, man. And with your help, we will get to 700 subscribers, hopefully before June 1st. So we thank y'all so much for continuing to rock with us here around the water cooler, man. We appreciate y'all as always for coming around, man. Let's take a look and see what's going on in the chats. What is going on in the chat? Auburn Dad in the chat saying, man, War Eagle to you, Auburn Dad, as always, getting us started off as always, man. Auburn Dad said the perception is Auburn should be talented enough to compete. And the reality is that's true with exception of coaching, which hasn't changed. So looking at it as a whole team, talent are. Okay. All right, man. I like it, man. Perception is not reality, but coaching, which also make up some of that perception, is not yet proving to be reality. That came from that perception. I like that, Auburn Dad. Shout out to Auburn Dad with that. James Barnett in the chat. What's up, James? How you feeling? Hope all is going good with you, my guy. Yeah, he said Nick was good. Nah, you know, as always, James, we are here. As long as I'm here and I'm able to come in and talk, man, I am always going to be good, man. Whatever's going on in life, whatever's going on outside of everything, we all go through things. But guess what? I'm above ground, and guess what? Give all the praise to God, man. We appreciate you so much, James, man. We doing good around this thing, man. Auburn Dad saying, what's up to James? The legend of Sweet Sugar Bear Williams is around here. The Huggy Beard himself. What's up, man? What's up, Huggy, man? You know me. Just doing what I do. Making it do what it do, what it do, what it do, what it do. What it do, what it do. And what it do some more, man. We thank y'all, as always. What's up? What up, JT? How you feeling, man? Ladies and gentlemen, y'all know what it is, man. It's time for my favorite part of the show. It's time for us to get the quote of the day from JT. JT's quote of the day.
Yeah. 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 It's time for JT's quote of the day. The quote of the day from JT. JT has the quote of the day for you and me. What is the quote? We want the quote. We need to know the quote. So what is the quote? It's a quote. It's time for JT's quote of the day. So JT, what is the quote today?
What is the quote today, my guy? JT says, the sky's the limit. That's from Frank McCourt, man. Hey, that's where we at, man. We want the sky to be the limit, man. If the reality is what it is, we might be coming there soon. Just wanted to update y'all. My little girl is out of the hospital. That's what's up. That's what's up. After 2 surgeries, and thanks to God, she is on the road to recovery. I want to thank y'all for the prayers and well wishes, man. Yeah, man. JT, man, you got to do what you got to do, man. The road to recovery, man. We are all praying and wishing that, and sending well wishes that goes well, and that it is a speedy recovery for your little girl, man. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to that, man. Strong. That's what I'm talking about, man. Out of the hospital is always good. That's what's up. 5 Adams come in and said, man, Steve Wiltfong predicted Morgan, Crowell, and Anthony Tank Jones to Hugh Freeze. If Hugh Freeze needs to win this year. Okay. He could predict him to Bama. Oh, well, so Hugh Freeze needs to win this year. Okay. All right. Well, that's a really early prediction. He must have some inside intel that's giving him that strength to get that prediction in. I still feel like all 3 of those, especially the Sedarian Morgan one, will probably come down to probably November, December sometime. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. All right, man, let's get into the show, man. I don't want to keep y'all too long tonight. So, man, as you all know, man, this week of shows, we have this theme. You know, I'm a Marvel fan. And in phase 2, phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we were in the thrones of Thanos, trying to collect all of the Infinity Stones to wield the power of basically the world, the universe, whatever it is. So this week of shows, we're going to try to see how we can collect all of Auburn's Infinity Stones, and how, when we get it together at the end of the week, how that is going to wield the power of Auburn being one of the dominating teams moving forward in college football, man. Shout out to C Hall, man. What's up, C Hall? How you feeling, man? Hope all is good with you, my guy. War Eagle to you, man. So last night we talked about the space and the time stones related to the Marvel universe. And we had a great conversation about that. And tonight we're going to look at what's the reality stone. The reality stone, one of the 6 Infinity Stones within the universe, is the reality stone. So, what is the reality stone? To give you a little background on it, the reality stone grants the user the ability to manipulate matter. It allows the user to fulfill their wishes, even if it is in direct contradiction of any scientific laws. It allows you to do things that wouldn't make sense in the real world. You can create alternate realities. And at its full potential, when backed by other stones, it allows to alter reality on a universal scale. And basically, you can make anybody see something that you only want them to see in the entire universe. So that's what the reality stone is in a gist of things. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to ask the question, when it pertains to Auburn football, how can we ask a question when it pertains to the reality of Auburn football? Going to that. So we're going to ask 2 questions. We're going to ask, in reality, are we looking at the beginning of the good old days that's coming ahead? Or is there more pain and frustration on the horizon with Auburn continuing to build? What is our reality right now about? We kind of touched on it last night with, shout out to Ted, shout out to Marcus that was on the show with us last night. We kind of touched on it towards the end of the show, getting into, the peaks and valleys of a football team and having that team continue to progress. And I asked the question of whether progression was linear and things and stuff of that nature. So tonight, kind of want to dig more into that, as well as ask about the reality of where Auburn football is right now and what can we expect in the future. And I'm going to look at it from present moment, and then I'm going to look at it as if I had the reality stone and I can control what I want other people to see. So looking at it in its present moment, the reality of what we see from Auburn football right now is that Auburn football is in a spot to where there's a bubble. It's a bubble. So either that bubble is going to continue to grow and get stronger, or that bubble's gonna pop. This is how I see it right now. Last night I stated on the show that I felt that Auburn was in a prime position to where they are in the landscape of college football and the space in the landscape of college football. I stated that I felt that Auburn was in a very prime position to ascend to be one of, if not one of the premier programs in the country. Looking at facilities, looking at the financial backing behind it when it comes to NIL, looking at the accumulation of talent that we've seen in the past, in these past couple of recruiting classes. When we see what's going on there, we can sit there and say to ourselves that there is an upward trajectory of Auburn football moving forward into the next couple of years. The reality of what we're looking at is we're looking at a fan base that is starving for a winning season. You're looking at a football team that seems to be going through a transformative mindset of learning how to win, and it seems as if they're about to get over the hump and over the obstacle of becoming that type of team that can win on a consistent basis. That's the reality of what we're looking at. Also, the reality is we're all guessing. Just being completely honest with you, just being very real and very honest, we are all guessing. We are all hoping and predicting and guessing at what this team could potentially be. You look at the roster, you look at the talent that's been accumulated, you look at what we consider to be the upgrades on this roster. And we sit here and we say, in reality, like Auburn Dad said earlier, in reality, Auburn, well, the perception, let me go back. Perception-wise, Auburn should be one of the top teams in the country. But reality-wise, we don't know. We haven't seen it. We're all just in this era, in this time warp, if you want to say, of we really don't know what we have right now. I mean, we've seen the videos, we've seen the clips, we've heard the reportings. If you listen to all of that, there is a lot of that in there that is very encouraging. There's a lot of information in there that is very enlightening. There's a lot of information in there that makes you say, look, I'm excited about what we potentially going to see here on the Plains moving forward. But we don't know until it's done, until we see it on the football field, until we see this team do it, until we see a coaching staff put together a game plan, and in that game plan effectively run it on a consistent basis week after week and not have lapses. We're literally sitting here saying, hey man, we have the talent. The schedules lines up perfectly for us to do this. Everything seems to line up, but we honestly don't know what to expect. But we can predict what potentially could happen. So when I look at this, and while thinking about this today, man, I found out, like, I was thinking about going back to Marvel, like what could potentially be the strongest, what could be the strongest stone? What could be the strongest Infinity Stone that you can use? The Reality Stone potentially could be up there. So after saying that and saying where we are in reality of where we are as a program and the perception of what we could be, I want to talk more about that perception now. Like I said, with the Reality Stone in the cinematic universe, you can almost manipulate what people see, and you can make them see what you want. Now, here is where we get into the point of what is it that I would want people to see? What is the reality I want people to know about Auburn football? What is that reality? Well, in very detailed terms, I would like an offense that ran the ball very, very well. I would like an offensive line that was the best offensive line in the country. I would like a quarterback that was very smart with the football, that was very decisive with the football. I would like playmakers on the outside that were wide receivers on the outside that were playmakers that made plays, that potentially made it easier for the quarterback, and vice versa. The quarterback makes it easier for the wide receiver. I would like on the defensive side of the ball that we had a dominating defensive line that got pressure. I would like that we had linebackers that can cover and that can come up and hit, and when they hit, they wrapped up. I would like to have a secondary that is one of the best secondaries in the country. I would like to have that secondary be able to cause coverage turnovers, coverage sacks, to where the defensive line, or if the linebackers are blitzing, had time to actually get to the get in the backfield and sack the quarterback. I would like for the defensive line to get pressure on opposing offensive lines in order to get sacks on a quarterback. I would just like a physical, dominating, smart football team is what I would like. If I could manipulate the reality of other people looking at Auburn, I would like the special teams. I would like our field goal guy to make every field goal when he gets on the field. I would like our punt team to be able to come down and cover every single time. I would like to have minimum return yards from the punt team when it gets to kickoffs. I want every kickoff kicked out of the back of the end zone, so the opposing team will have to start from the 25. It would be a complete football team that we will field every week on the field if I had that reality stone and I can manipulate what other people outside of the Auburn sphere sees when they see Auburn football. That's what I would want. I would want it to be the most perfect football team that you can think of. But perfect is not, only one person was perfect that ever walked the earth. But in reality right now, we don't have that. We don't know if we have that. We're always improving to get to that next level. We're always improving to try to get better. We're not trying to be perfect. We're trying to get improvement. Practice makes improvement, in my estimation. So that's what we're looking at doing. So when it comes to looking at what this football team could be and where this football team could go and what the outcome of this 2025 season could be in terms of the reality of what Auburn football is, I think this season will lend to the perception of what Auburn could be moving forward in the year. The two questions that I asked earlier, are we looking at the beginning of the good days going ahead? This is where I say, when I spoke earlier about this bubble, is this bubble getting bigger? Is it about to get bigger and get stronger, or is this bubble about to pop? Is there more pain and frustration ahead on the horizon for specifically the Auburn fan base when it comes to this season? Are there growing pains that we're about to go through even more this year when I speak and when I ask that question? And I want to answer that question just like this. I honestly feel, because I always see it as the glass half full, is what I look at it as. I honestly want to feel as if, and I honestly feel that we are about to see the manifestation of what we as fans are looking for in a football team. And granted, I don't want. I know most people don't want to. I know most people when we say things like this, they get upset. But you have to look at it and say that if you look at a team that was almost perfect or near perfect in the past 20 years, 25 years, you would have to put Alabama up there. And that's what I feel as if we get to the level of 6 national championships, SEC championships every year or every other year, perennial playoff team, perennial 10, 11 win team. Is that something that we can get to? Can that be Auburn's reality? Yes, it could be. It could be Auburn's reality. Yes, it can be. But the thing is, when we sit here and look at what needs to be done, and we're going to get into this later on in the week when we talk about other topics and other themes that gets to it. We'll talk about that later on in the week. But what are we sacrificing in order to get to that? What is the Auburn football team, the coaching staff, and even the fan base? What are we sacrificing as a whole in order for us to be that perfect dominating team that we have to be in order? We have to be in order for us to have the reality of being that team that people are scared to play, that people like. And I'm using this as an example. There was always, and I don't know if people understand. Well, people understand. So when Alabama was in its run, when they were solely heavily in their run, the thing was every time someone played Alabama, the narrative was that opposing team always brought their A game against Alabama because of just how prepared, how well disciplined, how well coached the team was. So you knew, and it showed on the field. The results showed themselves. So when I say what is the perception that we have as a team, that's the perception that we want to have. But in reality, right now, we're not there yet. We're not there. So this season lends to us being able to get to that, depending on what we see on the field this year, can have us in that position to where when other teams have us scheduled on their schedule, they put more dedication, they put more emphasis, they put a little bit more into figuring out how can we compete, how can we beat Auburn. And I honestly don't know, and this is no knock against Auburn, but I just don't know if that type of fear is in opposing teams when opposing teams see Auburn play. When they see Auburn scheduled on their roster. And I don't know and I don't think we've had that for a while, to be completely honest with you. Like I tell you, man, I'm not one of those fans that want to sunshine pump. If I feel a certain way about certain things, I will tell you, just like I've been saying for the longest, I think Auburn is a 10-win team this year. I think Auburn goes 10-2. I wholeheartedly believe that. If I would have felt a different way, I would have said so. I've said, and we've had shows about basically saying that I felt that this defense, even though young in certain areas and even though young and inexperienced in certain areas, I've said that I felt that this defense could potentially be a top 15 defense this year. I've said that. But getting back to where we are when it gets to the narrative of where we are as a team reality-wise versus the perception. I just want, as a fan and as somebody that watches, talks about, covers, you want to say cover, Auburn, as a person that enjoys watching the game of football and understanding and seeing how dominant, great teams sustain over time, this season to me is going to let me know a lot of how the next 3 years will be for Auburn football. If we are competitive on the field, which we were competitive in games last year, that's no knock. We were competitive. There were just mental lapses in certain points at certain points, and we all watched the games. There's nothing new to it. We saw things happen, and we were like, man, if this didn't happen here, this could have been different in the outcome for Auburn moving forward. This season, and I'll keep saying it, will basically give us a determination of where Auburn will be the next 3 years and beyond. And I wholeheartedly feel as if this season, even though it's a good even though I feel like it'll be a 10-win season, I honestly think that this is the beginning of better days ahead for Auburn. I honestly feel that. I honestly feel as if we talk about the coaching. We talk about how, the word I'm looking for, how situational things have happened. I honestly don't want to sit here and think that this coaching staff is going to make the same mistakes again that were made last year. I honestly don't think that this coaching staff is going to compound on mistakes and keep compounding on mistakes in situational type things. Overall, the coaching staff is fine. The offensive side is fine. The defensive side is fine. The offensive side is good in certain areas, but when it gets to situational type stuff, we kind of sit back and be like, well, could there have been something different that happened there? Could it have been something that, if this was supposed to happen, is there something that could have been done differently in this situation or something better? But that's just us sitting back as fans asking the question. But I honestly believe that I'm not going to sit here and think that this coaching staff is going to compound on mistakes from last year. I want to believe that they learned from what they saw last year, because one of the statements that I've heard Coach Freeze make is we have, and this is no quote, but it's paraphrased, basically saying we have to audit ourselves as coaches as well. We have to do better as coach. We have to do better with coaching as well. You know what I'm saying? So I take that on its face value and I say, are we as a team, coaches, players, fan base, are we looking at what we can do in order to make it better? What is the sacrifice that we have to make in order to get to that next level, to make the reality that when other teams see us on the schedule and they see Auburn football there, that they have to be like, yeah, we got to put a circle around Auburn, because we know that when we play Auburn, guess what? Auburn's going to be physical. Auburn's going to be well coached. Auburn's going to be disciplined. Auburn's going to know what their game plan is, and they're going to have contingencies to what they think that we might do. So there are things that we have to do in order to get to that point. There are things that have to be in place in order for the whole organization and football team to get to that particular point, to where other teams feel that way. And we'll talk about that a little bit in the second half. But we'll talk more about what is the reality of Auburn football in the next 3 years. First half is just kind of getting into the groove of it. But we're about to take a break in a minute right here. But the reality is, the perception is that we all look at the roster and we all say that this roster should be good. A lot of people said that last year, that Auburn should have won more games than they did. Perception tells us that, man, Auburn should be one of the top programs in the country. But the reality is, we don't know what we have right now. We really are all just making really educated hypotheses of what potentially Auburn could be moving forward. All right, man, we're going to take a break right here, man. We're going to take us into halftime, and then when we come back in the second half, man, we're going to take a look at how this reality could change moving into the next 3 years for Auburn football, man. And it's going to be coming from my perspective. So please, if you have any questions about it, please let us know, man, in the comments, and we'll talk about it. We're going to move into halftime right now, man. Let's go ahead. Let's get it. Get it.
You don't out your seats. It's halftime.
Do you want to feel like a star? Then go to Hollywood Media, and you'll be shining. From sports interviews, athletic highlight tapes, athletic photography, Hollywood Media will make you the star of all stars. Feel like a star on the most important days of your life, from college graduation to saying I do to your forever person. Let Hollywood Media make your event star-studded. Subscribe and follow on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Hollywood_media. And follow on Facebook at Hollywood Media with 2 A's. Hollywood. Oh, man. Shout out to our guy DJ, man. Day one supporter of the Water Cooler Talk podcast, man. As always, man. make sure you mess with the people that mess with the Water Cooler Talk podcast, man. If you want to feel like a star, man, if you're an athlete, you want your athletic highlight tapes done, if you want your pictures done for your wedding, for proms, graduations coming up in a couple of weeks, with anything, shout out to our guy DJ, man. Follow him on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, at Hollywood_media. And then on Facebook, follow him at Hollywood Media with 2 A's, as well, man. So shout out to our guy DJ. They want support of the Water Cooler Talk podcast. Be sure to mess with the people that mess with the Water Cooler Talk podcast, man. We thank y'all so much for rocking with us around the water cooler, man. Yeah, man. Shout out to DJ, man. He said, Lil Huggy said, what's up? Tell Lil Huggy what's going on, man. Tell him what's up, man. Tell him we said what's popping. What's popping, my guy. Said great show. Appreciate that, Patrick Steele. And welcome, Patrick. Welcome around the water cooler, man. Appreciate you so much for that. Shout out to DJ. What's up, man? Shout out to DJ. All right, man. Let's go ahead. Let's get into it so we can get you guys up out of here, man. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us around the water cooler. So what is the reality of Auburn football in the next 3 years? It really depends on what happens this year. That is that is contingent on what happens this year. I feel as if Auburn wins this year, recruiting will go through the roof. We will see a lot of talent that is brought into the inner confines of the Auburn football team. And with that happening, that will attract other talented guys that want to come to Auburn because it will pique the interest of those guys wanting to know what's happening in Auburn outside of just them winning on the field. Also, if Auburn is able to potentially put some guys in the draft, and I'm not just saying put guys in the draft, but put guys in the draft, first, second round type guys that's going in the draft. If Auburn is able to do that consistently within the next 3 years, I think that sets up even more for Auburn to be one of those schools that will automatically be on the radar for a lot of top premium blue chip type talent throughout the country. Not just the Southeast, not just Alabama, not just Georgia, not just Florida, not just Louisiana, but throughout the country. When you're able as a school, when you're able as a program, when you're able as an organization to be able to winning, secondly, brings in more attention. That attention automatically brings in curiosity from guys who are coming out of high school that want to see what you're doing there. And then that curiosity turns into, guess what, guys that when they get there and visit, there is a commitment that comes after that for them wanting to be a part of a winning program. And then once that commitment happens, they get on the field and they're able to produce. And once they produce, they're off to the next level in the NFL as a very highly touted type prospect. Once you get that pipeline down, guess what? It becomes so much easier. So the whole thing, the whole formula, the whole secret thing to this is winning. That's what it is. So the reality for Auburn for the next 3 years is to just win. If we had to just put it in its most simplest form, the reality for Auburn in the next 3 years is to just win. Because if we just win, guess what? You'll peak, you'll get the attention that you need, that you're craving for, which when you have that attention, it becomes easier to recruit. Because guess what? If ESPN, if Fox, if CBS, if whoever, whichever one of these three to four letter networks, if they are always blasting you out on their platforms to millions of people, and in that millions of people, some of the millions of people are recruits, that is free publicity for your program and for the university. So once that happens, it piques the curiosity because now you're being talked about more. And now that curiosity turns into, all right, interest. So now once people become interested, now it brings in a whole nother level. So now once you start winning and you start bringing the curiosity and the interest and the attention, now you have to be able to raise your level of being able to stay relevant. Because at some point in time, sometimes once that interest and that curiosity and that attention hits, it kind of weighs on people sometimes in situations to where people kind of crumble under that situation, under that pressure. And when they crumble, it means there's not a strong foundation. So basically, under this, in the next 3 years, in the most simplest terms, Auburn has to win. That's all it is. If Auburn wins, guess what? Auburn is better. Auburn will get better. But if you want it, that's the macro part of it. If you want to get to the micro part of it, of the intimacies and the intricacies of it, you have to have a strong foundation. You have to have a process. You have to have something that most or all people are interested in coming to see. Of course, we already said that. But the foundation has to be there. The foundation has to be something that you can build on, that can potentially just keep getting, you can keep adding to, because when you keep winning, guess what? That attention and that curiosity and everything else is just going to keep building and building. So you have to be able to have that foundation. So the next 3 years, the reality of Auburn is that we just got to keep winning. And I think Auburn is ready to do that. I think that's what it is. And I think it starts with this year. I think the winning starts this year for Auburn. I think it does. People may be like, well, how do you feel that way? Well, like I stated earlier, I'm not going to say anything that I don't agree with. I say this. I think talent-wise, and this more leans to the perception thing, but I think more with the talent that we see on the roster, with the upgrade that we see in certain positions, Auburn should win 10 games this year, and Auburn should host a playoff game at Jordan-Hare Stadium, Pat Dye Field. Just being real, we should, just based off of what we're seeing. But if that happens in this year one, and I'm including 2025 in the next 3 years, so 25, 26, 27 is what I'm including. 25, if we win, guess what? That adds on to the curiosity and the interest of Auburn in 26, because guess what? You're more than likely a playoff team. You get into the 26 season, guess what? You more than likely brought in a top 7, top 6, top 5 class. So now the guys that are on the roster this year for the 25 year has an extra year of experience. So now you shouldn't have that much turnover, except for on the offensive line. The offensive line will look different in 26. But you look at what you have coming back for the 26, transfer portal and everything, staying the same. You don't lose much. You have the opportunity to build on what happened in this previous 2025 season. So Auburn wins again. And then guess what? In year 3, Auburn should be competing for a national championship. Auburn should be a national championship contending team by year 3. If you look at it in a linear progression. So the reality of Auburn, reality/perception of Auburn is that Auburn should be a national championship contending team in the next 3 years. If everything else, if Auburn is winning this year, if Auburn is continually to get talent inside the building, not premium talent, blue chip talent, high 4-star, 5-star type talent in the building. If you're continuing to sign these classes that are top 10, top 7, top 5 type classes, it could potentially be top 3 classes. If you're continuing to do that, guess what? That lends me to say that Auburn should be a national championship contending team in 3 years. That's what it is. So that's where I'm gonna leave that at. I mean, because there's really nothing else more that we can say about Auburn within the next 3 years, where they could be. They should be a national championship contending team. There are other things we could talk about. There are other things we could say, well, Auburn could, percentage-wise, Auburn could have more blue chip guys than the next team, or Auburn is selling all that stuff. Honestly, if Auburn wins, everything else takes care of itself. So macro-wise, guess what? In the most simplest terms, like I said it before, the reality of Auburn is to win to win within the next 3 years. That's the reality. Win this year for sure, but keep that winning going for the next 3 years and beyond. Because when that happens, like I stated before, curiosity peaks, interest comes after the curiosity, and then after that interest, attention. And when you get that, guess what? When you get that, and you have that strong foundation already built, well, they just say it's a machine. you just keep that machine churning. It may be some clunk, it may be a clunk every now and then, but guess what? You got the foundation, and that machine just keeps turning and turning and turning and turning and turning and turning. You may have a little hiccup here, but it just keeps turning and turning because you have built up that currency. You have built up that cachet. You have built up enough currency basically to say that, look, Auburn is a contender every year and not just on the outside looking in. So that's my spiel right there, man. Whatever you think, what you think about it, man. Let me know what you think, man, in the comments. If you're rewatching this, let me know in the comments what you think. If you have any thoughts about it, let me know, man. Sweet Stuffer 256. He says, hate to say it, but QB will dictate success. We have weapons, but if we can't utilize them, it doesn't matter. Peyton Thorne wasn't the only issue, but the biggest issue. QB must be competent. Yeah, man. When you look at this, and you look at the Jackson Arnold and multiple Auburn-esque podcasts and college football podcasts have talked about this ad nauseum. The competition between Deuce Knight and Jackson Arnold. They have talked about this. To your point of having the weapons on the outside, when you have those type of guys out there, you don't need a world beater at quarterback to be, in my personal opinion. You just need a guy that's accurate enough and that can just distribute the football correctly, make the correct reads, and put the ball and throw a catchable ball. And let those athletic guys go out and do what they need to do. Because if that happens, guess what? It makes the quarterback look better. So I agree with you, man. It really is. In the words of DC from Auburn Addicts, so goes the trigger man, so goes the offense. So, and the trigger man is the quarterback. So I agree with you there, man. King Richard in the chat, he said, War Eagle, man. Shout out to King Richard, man. Hope all is good. Let's see. He said, at the hospital in Mobile, my wife may have had a mini stroke, but still with him. Man, praying for your wife, man. Praying for it, man. Just healing energy her way. Pray everything goes well. Pray those test results come back in her favor and you all's favor. So, man, I'm surprised you came in tonight, man. But hey, man, praying for you and your family, man. Praying for her as well, man. So we appreciate that, man. All right, man. I told you I was gonna try to get y'all in and get y'all out tonight. As always, I could talk more about this, but I'm ready to go eat. But we appreciate y'all, man, for rocking with us here around the water cooler, man. Nah, man. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. We appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us here around the water cooler as always, man. We'll be back tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, around the water cooler. And man, we'll be talking about another Infinity Stone that Auburn has to collect in order for them to wield the power to be a dominant team. We've talked about the space, the time, and then tonight we went into the reality. What is the reality of Auburn? Tomorrow we'll talk about another one. We'll talk about another one tomorrow, and we'll try to dive deep into it and see exactly how can it help and the question we can answer pertaining to Auburn football. And before we get out of here, man, Auburn Dad said, man, prayers King. Yeah, man, send the prayers to King and his family. As always, man. And Huggy Beard said, man, you earn an early night or two. Man, nah, we appreciate that, man. I enjoy getting on here talking, but I'm hungry. I haven't eaten. I'm really ready to eat. So I'm about to go get me a little something in the stomach real quick, man, because I gotta get the nourishment to keep doing these, man. You feel what I'm saying? But man, as always, man, we appreciate y'all for rocking with us here around the water cooler as always, man. Without y'all, man, we wouldn't be able to do this. So we thank y'all for giving us a little bit of your time every night, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, just to come sit around and talk with us about Auburn football, SEC football, and recruiting, man. So we appreciate y'all so much, man. Before you get up out of here, follow us on Facebook at the Water Cooler Talk Podcast. Or if you on Facebook, you can follow Nicholas Frazier because basically the same information goes there as well. So you can find Nicholas Frazier on Facebook and follow me there. You can follow me and follow Water Cooler Talk on Instagram, at TikTok at the Water Cooler Talk. You can follow us on Twitter if you have a Twitter, or if you don't, download it. And because we're trying to grow our Twitter following, you can follow us on Twitter at CoolestPod23. Follow us on Twitter at CoolestPod23. And then, of course, subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell button here on YouTube so you know when we post more videos and when we go live. We are on the road to 700 subscribers. So please help us get there. We're trying to get there on or before June 1st. So please help us get there. And we're gonna keep bringing you this content, man. When it comes to, you know, college football, Auburn football, and recruiting, man. So we appreciate that. Also, man, make sure that you go follow the Avengers of YouTube. And when I say the Avengers, make sure you go follow Auburn Addicts, Auburn Addicts TV on YouTube. Make sure you go follow Tight Sports and Alabama Football Megacast. Make sure you go follow the Sharpshooters podcast. He is on his way to 800 subscribers. Tight Sports, Alabama Football Megacast, he is on his way to 500 subscribers. And DC Wolf over at Auburn Addicts TV, he is on his way to 2,000 subscribers. As well, make sure that you go follow Auburn Tez. He's launching his YouTube channel. He's coming in, the Avengers. Make sure you go follow him at It's SE Season on YouTube. There it is right there. That's it right there. Type that in on YouTube and go follow Auburn Tez over on at It's SE Season on YouTube, man. We appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us here around the water cooler, man. And in the words of Thanos, I am immortal. It didn't work. I don't know why, but I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna try it again. I am immortal.